Terri Clark always knew she was going to join the club of Nashville country stars. Her total commitment and faith in herself took that dream to levels that surprise even her.
I'm just now starting to feel like I really belong in the club.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Terri Clark.
I love you all very much.
Terri Clark spent her teenage years in the oil, gas, and farming hub of Medicine Hat, Alberta, dreaming of the day she'd move to the epicenter of country music, Nashville, Tennessee.
I was obsessed with moving to Nashville. I was obsessed with anything that was tied to country music whatsoever. I was addicted to the CMA Awards. I was in the Reba McEntire fan club.
The talented young singer graduated high school and headed straight for the border. What she lacked in funds, she made up for in hope.
Told the Border Patrol we were going to the Grand Ole Opry. We arrived that night, and I just stood there looking out the hotel room window. I could see the skyline, and I thought, that's what I have to conquer.
First stop, the legendary Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, where the 18-year-old Terri shyly asked the afternoon performer if she could sing a few songs during his break.
I took his guitar and I sang probably for the next 4 or 5 hours. Then the place started to fill up, and the owner offered me a job.
Clark would spend nearly a decade grinding out bar gigs while working every job from a waitress to selling boots.
It was really up and down. Reba walked into the boot store with Shelby, who was 3 years old, and I sold them his first pair of cowboy boots. And I vowed to myself, the next time I introduce myself to her, it's going to be as a real artist.
After 9 long years of putting in the work, Terri signed a record deal with Mercury Records.
That was the beginning of everything.
In 1995, Terri's first single, Better Things to Do, hit the airwaves, reaching #2 on the Billboard charts.
The first time I heard it on the radio, I just started jumping on the hotel room bed and took a tile out of the ceiling. And I still feel that way every time I hear anything on the radio.
Between 1995 and 96, Terri released her first 2 albums, going platinum multiple times over in Canada and America. She won 6 CCMAs, including Album of the Year in back-to-back years. After a decade on the starting block, Terri's career was off to the races.
It's like the dog that chases the car and then catches it, and then, what do I do with this? I was so worried about losing it because I worked so hard to get it.
It hurt a lot less than taking you back.
Terri had nothing to worry about. Her third album delivered her first #1 single in America, You're Easy on the Eyes.
You're easy on the eyes, hard on the heart.
Terri had broken big, landing tours with Toby Keith, Brooks and Dunn, and of course, Reba McEntire.
Oh gosh, I gave her my first fan club card. She remembered me from the boot store, and she gave me an 8x10 of Shelby and those boots that I sold them. And he signed it in a little chicken scratch. I still have it in my office today.
Feeling pigeonholed by the need for radio-friendly singles, Terri put her faith in a more personal and introspective approach to songwriting on her 4th album, Fearless.
It's still my favorite record I've ever made. It was from the heart. The whole creative process was just what I think creative people are supposed to do.
No fear.
Terri's commitment to artistic authenticity is a key reason she's earned the honor of being the only Canadian female member of the legendary Grand Ole Opry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Terri Clark of the Grand Ole Opry.
The holy grail of being a country artist is the Grand Ole Opry. To be part of something that is just Nashville and country music history, I still can't believe I'm an Opry member.
This is a true honor. Thank you so much.
By the mid-2000s, Terri no longer felt like she fit into the box of major label country artist. Once again, she gambled on herself, going independent and forming her own label, Bear Track Records, which released her next 6 albums.
I was cooking with my own gas and didn't have a committee making decisions. I sort of had more creative freedom again, which felt really nice.
Terri Clark's career proves that you're only at the right place at the right time if you put yourself there. Spending a decade at the top of the charts sometimes means spending a decade waiting tables and selling boots. But that kind of dedication is what it takes to make a Hall of Fame career.
I think the term must be present to win. comes to mind. I wound up where I was supposed to be.
Terri's accomplishments include 3 Junos, 19 CCMAs, and a place in the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame.
To be so fortunate to have made a career out of what started out as a hobby and childhood passion, this is truly humbling and surreal to me.
Whether she believes it or not, she enters the Canadian Music Hall of Fame as one of Canada's most deserving musicians.
I look at the list of people that have been inducted into this, and now I feel like I'm part of a club that I'm waiting to get kicked out of again.